Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
And today, there's a conversation that is waiting for you. You know exactly which one I'm talking about, I believe. It has been sitting at the back of your mind for days, maybe weeks. And every time you almost bring it up, someone stops you. And you think, अभी सही time नहीं है. और अगर मैंने कह दिया तो सब बिगड़ जाएगा. Or maybe you have simply rehearsed it so many times in your head that the real conversation feels almost impossible now. Now, it could be with your spouse about something that has been quietly building, or with your adult child about a decision you disagree with but have not found the words for, or with a colleague about something they did not, that affected you and you smiled and said nothing. We all we all have that, sometime or the other, such a conversation. The one we keep postponing, the one that feels too risky, too uncomfortable, too loaded. You know, here's the thing, nobody tells you about difficult conversations. Difficult conversations, when handled well, do not damage relationships, they deepen them. So, the relationship that survives a hard, honest conversation is a relationship built on something real. And today, I want to show you how to have that conversation with grace. So let's begin the session. And, as Imran sir always says, connect with using metaphors, right? So let's begin with that. And if I may ask you, have you ever crossed an old suspension bridge? One of those narrow ones, slightly wobbly over a river? Now, if you have, you'll remember this. The moment you step onto it, your body does something instinctive. You slow down, you steady yourself, you stop looking at how far you have to go, and you focus on the very next step, and you hold the railing, not because you are weak, but because you are wise. Rush across that bridge in a panic, it starts swaying wildly and becomes dangerous. Freeze in the middle because you are too scared to move. You're stuck and the bridge is still swaying. But walk across it with balance, with care, with your eyes on where you are going, and you get to the other side every time. Difficult conversations are exactly like that bridge. They connect two people or two sides of a relationship, and they require emotional balance, not fearlessness, not aggression, not perfect words, just balance and the willingness to keep walking carefully towards the other side. So, how do you actually do this? So, I want to give you four things to carry into difficult conversations. And think of them as you're railing on that bridge. Number one, clarify your intention. Before you say a single word, ask yourself, why am I having this conversation? Let me tell you about Rekha. She has been a homemaker for 30 years. Her son, now in his late 20s, made a financial decision without consulting her. A big one. She's hurt, she's angry, and she wants to talk to him about it. But before she does, what is her intention? Is it to make him feel guilty? To prove she was right? Or is it to genuinely understand why he did what he did and to tell him how it made her feel? Yeah, that clarity must be there. So, those are completely difficult, or I would say different conversations. Same words, perhaps, but very different energy. So when your intention is to be heard and to understand, the conversation starts differently. It ends differently too. Number two, stay calm before and during. So there's Arun. He's a 58-year-old man, a senior professional, someone who has navigated boardrooms and balance sheets his whole career. But at home, when his wife brings up something that has been bothering her, something about how he has been distant, distracted, he feels cornered. And when Arun feels cornered, he either shuts down completely or counterattacks with something entirely unrelated from 3 years ago. Sounds familiar? We've all been Arun, and we all have dealt with an Arun. The problem is not that Arun does not care. The problem is that he walked into that conversation without being emotionally ready for it. His nervous system was already on alert before she finished her first sentence. So, before a difficult conversation, do something very simple. Breathe, not metamorphically, literally. Take 3 slow breaths. Lower your shoulders. Decide right then. I'll not raise my voice. I'll not bring up old grievances. I'll stay in this conversation even if it gets uncomfortable. So, calm is not weakness, calm is control, and control is power. Number three, focus on understanding, not winning. So, there's Nalini. She works in HR in a large company. She's skilled, experienced, and very sure of her own perspective, which is mostly an asset. But when she has a difficult conversation with a teenage daughter, that same quality becomes a problem. Her daughter says something, Nalini immediately thinks of a counter argument. Her daughter is still speaking, and Nalini is already preparing her response. She's listening to reply, not to understand. So most of us do this. We turn conversations into courtrooms. Someone speaks, we build our case. Someone makes a point, we look for the flaw. But in a difficult conversation, you are not there to win. You are there to understand. And the moment you genuinely try to see the other person's perspective, even if you disagree with it, the entire temperature of the conversation changes. Ask yourself, what might they be feeling that I am not fully seeing? That one question can completely shift the dynamic. And number four, speak respectfully, even when it is hard. See, the words you choose, they matter and enormously. And there's a difference between you never listen to me and I feel unheard when I am interrupted. So there's a difference between you always do this and this particular situation has left me feeling hurt. One is an attack on the person, the other is an expression of your experience. The first one makes the other person defensive, the second one gives them a chance to actually hear you. So, respectful language is not about being soft, it's about being strategic. Because if you want the other person to actually receive what you're saying, you have to deliver it in a way they can receive. And always remember, no matter how difficult the conversation, the goal is connection, not victory. You are conversing to connect, not to win the conversation. So let's do today's reflection. And I want to think about that conversation, the one I mentioned at the beginning, the one that has been waiting. So I believe everyone has something in mind with somebody, with somebody. So tonight or this weekend, before you have it, take out a piece of paper or open your phone notes and write down just three things. One, if you are planning for such a conversation, what I want to say, what is the truth I need to express? Number two, what I want to understand. What might the other person be feeling that I've not fully considered? And number three, what outcome I hope for. Not to win, not to punish. That is, what does a good ending to this conversation actually look like? Three questions, write the answers, and then go into that conversation. Not armed, but prepared. Not to fight, but to finally bridge that gap that has been sitting between you and someone you care about. You'll be surprised how much changes when you walk in knowing why you are there. And we spend so much of our lives avoiding certain conversations. We think we are preserving peace, but often what we are preserving is distance. A very quiet, very polite distance that slowly grows into something neither person intended. The things left unsaid have a weight. They sit in the room long after you have left it. They come out at the wrong time, in the wrong way, or they never come out at all. And something precious between two people quietly hardens. But a difficult conversation, handled with intention, with calm, with respect, is not an act of confrontation. It's an act of courage and of love. It says, I care enough about this relationship to risk an uncomfortable moment for a more honest future. So, every relationship that you admire, every friendship, every marriage, every partnership that has stood the test of time was built not by avoiding hard conversations, but by having them together and coming out the other side, still walking side by side. So this week, choose the conversation you have been postponing. Prepare for it. Walk onto that bridge carefully with your intention clear and your heart open, because the other side of a difficult conversation is where real understanding lives. And the real understanding is where real relationships are built. So, with that thought, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you.